Hi, Yefo. I am back with lesson 2 in social studies, and we continue learning about the Anglo-Saxon laws and justice. All right, in the first lesson, you were answering some questions using meta thinking and analyzing, and in this lesson, we are going to be doing different activities but still working with the same topic. All right, guys, so the objective for today is you will be comparing both modern British and Roman justice system with that of Anglo-Saxons. Okay, so guys, we do have a certain idea about how the modern laws in Britain work, and if you remember, the very first topic was the Roman laws in the Roman Britain, and now we're learning about the Anglo-Saxons. So we'll be comparing all three. You'll be able to compare and contrast the Anglo-Saxon and modern British justice systems, and you will be able to compare and contrast the Anglo-Saxon and Roman justice systems. Right, guys, you will start this lesson with a bit of realizing here, guys, automaticity. You will log into Nearpod. Your teacher will provide a code for you. I left this blank because every teacher will have their own code for their own classroom. So please don't forget to do this. It's just multiple choice questions about the Anglo, about what you remember from the previous class, basically. But anyway, just to go through it again, just to refresh our memory about the Anglo-Saxon legal system. Remember, the Anglo-Saxons were Germanic tribes, okay, that were invading Britain after the Romans left. We call them Anglo-Saxons because the main tribes were called the Angles and the Saxons. So, so the modern British laws are not that different from the laws of Anglo-Saxon Britain. However, the punishments are very, very different. If you remember, there were no prisons. Okay, punishments were public and very brutal to deter other people from committing crimes. Different kingdoms within Anglo-Saxon Britain had their own laws and punishments. Guys, if you remember tithings, different villages or communities were divided into tithings. They were made up of 10 men who were responsible for each other's behavior. So if someone committed a crime, the other members of tithings had to bring them to court, and if they did not, they had to be all punished, all 10 of them. And if a village wanted to find a criminal, the people would call upon everyone else in the community to find them. This was called hue and cry. If you remember different kinds of punishments, whipping, mutilation, branding, okay, hot rod, burning your skin, drowning, stoning, exile, okay, so some of them are pretty similar to the Roman Britain, and some of them most of them are very different to what we like. Obviously, a bit of body cut off. This is not a punishment that is used in Britain these days. All right. If you remember the Wehrgeld system, there was a payment system. If you killed someone, you had to pay the family of the killed person some money. Also, if you caused someone their finger, or if you blinded them or broke their tooth, you also have to pay money, Wehrgeld value. Okay. And then, if jury would usually try to decide if the defendant was guilty or not, you could choose your own oath keeper, like a witness who would swear that like you were innocent, and they would describe everything they saw. But if the jury or the judge still could not decide after a long trial, the person could choose trial by ordeal, what Anglo-Saxons believed was a kind of trial where God would decide if the person was guilty or not. And the defendant could choose which ordeal they could go through. So if there was a cold water ordeal, you were thrown into water. If you floated, you were guilty. If you sank to the bottom, you were innocent. Then there was hot water ordeal. You would have to retrieve a sand from boiling hot water, and then if your hand get infected during the healing process, you were guilty. If not, you were innocent. And the iron barrow deal, you'd have to carry a very hot iron for 9 feet, which is around like imagine, for example, I am 6 foot tall, so 3 feet would be, imagine how tall I am plus like one extra third of me, so that if you could carry that, and then when your hand was healing, if it got infected, you were guilty. If it did not get infected, you were innocent. So think about whether this was fair, or actually if really God could decide through that. All right, guys, so you already answered questions and you should pretty much be familiar with the Anglo-Saxon legal system. Now, what are you going to be doing? So, you will do an activity, okay? How does the Anglo-Saxon justice system compare to the system we have in Britain today, okay? So, there are 2 case studies, okay? There are 4 case studies in total. I expect you to do the first 2, everyone. However, if you want to do all 3 or all 4, you're more than welcome to do it. But as I said, 1 or 2 will, sorry, not 1 or 2. Only the first 2 will be sufficient, okay? So don't worry about doing the 3rd or 4th one if you don't want to. So now, let me just show it to you how it looks. So basically, case study 1. A man has killed a woman because he was angry. What should we do? Okay. Anglo-Saxon people, what would they do? The man should pay a weregild fine of 200 shillings to the woman's family and then be free to go. Here it says, talk about reasons why you think this should happen to this man, okay? So you guys need to give reasons. Imagine you are a member of Anglo-Saxon kingdom, and you are actually, you are the Anglo-Saxon people, a person from Anglo-Saxon Britain. So you need to give reasons why the man should pay a weregild of a fine of 200 shillings, okay? So you will write that under there or in your notebooks. Then what would modern British people do? The man should go to prison for 25 years. Talk about the reasons why you think this would be the best punishment for this man. Imagine you're a modern British person living in Britain today, so why do you think the man should go to prison for 25 years? Write your reasons here, and then you will have to analyze it from jury's point of view. Imagine you are the jury and you are listening to both sides. Anglo-Saxon people and modern British people. So think about and listen to both arguments. Which option do you think should happen and why? So you will just write a couple of sentences. Which option do you think is more fair or more suitable, and why do you think that? Guys, don't just write, I think they should just pay, okay? That's not you really explaining why, okay? So please do explain your reasons why, or we will have to send your work back, okay? Then you have the second case study. A child has stolen a sheep. What should we do? Again, Anglo-Saxon people give reasons why. If you are modern British people, give reasons why this should be done. And then as a jury, you will have to decide which one is better and explain why, okay? And then there's a 3rd and 4th one. Okay, guys, we will be using a lot of critical thinking, analyzing here. So you'll be answering a lot of questions, especially why especially the questions about Anglo-Saxons, why should the punishment be like this? Okay, you will be using basically knowledge from these lessons about the legal system. Okay, that's critical thinking. And then you will use linking, seeing alternative perspectives. Okay. You will hear the Anglo-Saxon side, you will consider the modern British people, and then you will come into conclusion about your own conclusion about what is the best thing to do, okay? All right, please submit on ClassDojo. And the last one, Roman justice system, okay? So guys, if you think about it, what is similar about the way the Romans and Anglo-Saxons carried out their punishments? Okay, so then there are differences. Okay, and think about the trials by ordeal. Who or what did the Anglo-Saxons believe was playing a part in deciding whether that person was guilty or not? So guys, please do consider this. Okay, what was similar? If you look at the punishments and crimes, what was very similar in the Roman Britain and in Anglo-Saxon Britain, but what was different? And especially focus on trials by ordeal. So the trial by ordeal, they believed God would decide. Did the Romans believe God would decide any of the crimes? Any of the punishments for crimes? So I'd really like you to think, use your critical thinking. What do you remember about the Roman legal system and compare it with the Anglo-Saxon system we just learned about? Okay, guys, and that's it for the end of the class. Self-reflection, which is meta thinking. What did I learn? How did I do? Okay, what was I doing in this lesson? Please reflect on your own learning. That's very important. All right, I hope you enjoyed this week's topic, and I hope you're looking forward to the next week's one because I am. So see you next week.